Hello, my name is Logan Cleaver. I'm co-owner with my brother of Stoddard Honey with my brother Brian. We grew up in Washington State, didn't know beekeeping was even a job, but married into the family, came down, gave it a try, and after extracting some honey, we really enjoyed it. So now we live in Delta, Utah, which is a small desert community. Just a river runs through it called Sevier River, so there's some farm fields around, and used to be the alfalfa seed capital of the world, but now everyone's gone to dairy, so it's all four crops of alfalfa. So we travel around a lot to find different types of honey. As a full-time beekeeper, the type of work we do changes with the seasons, and that's kind of what I love. I'm not doing the same thing every day throughout the whole year. So in the winter, we're really slow. We send our bees to the almonds, go down there, ship them on semis, and then we feed them pollen patties, a little bit of syrup if they need it. In California, there's a San Joaquin Valley that goes from Bakersfield all the way up to Sacramento and a little higher. And that's where all the almond grows are. They need like 1.5 million hives to pollinate all those. We move them all down there to go for that pollination because there's nothing else going on in our area in Utah. It's too cold. And then we come home for 6 weeks if we can, and we try to snowmobile, we try to have fun, try to do winter work like build covers, build pallets, fix frames, paint boxes, nest the boxes for the upcoming season. And then the spring starts. That's the hardest part of the year. The bees come back. Some go to Utah and some go to Nevada, and Nevada's a little warmer, so we'll do all our splits there to start with. Split them, let them grow on some pollen, and we still got to feed them though because there's no honey flow down there in April. And then the bees up here, we try to shake them in Utah if they're big. We'll just feed bees in the spring till they get ready for honey flow, and then we spread them out on the clover, the alfalfa, some mountain flower, and then just super them, keep an eye on them, take off the honey in July, extract it, keep an eye on the bees, start treating as soon as we can. As soon as the honey flows over, we get a treat so we don't get those huge 50-60% losses. Then after that, we prepare them for the sheds. So in the winter, we're treating, we're feeding, we're putting them on rabbit brush, which is a good pollen source in Utah, and they can get a few sheets of that stuff stored up for winter. And so that's really good, even lasts into the early spring. And then we try to get them all good, grate them, take all the treatment out, anything we have, and then go into the sheds, stack them 5 high, keep it pitch black, keep it about 40 degrees, fresh air coming through, and check on them once in a while, but they're pretty good there for about 2 months. And then the cycle, starts over, go back to the almonds end of January. Yeah, so when it comes to honey production, that's our funnest time because when you look at the bees, they look so good, and then just carrying those boxes around, they're heavy, and it's honey and it's just delicious, and we're also making some money, so we like that. We have a few different honey productions, so we'll do some orange groves down in Bakersfield area right after the almonds. And this year we might not try it because they like to swarm a lot afterwards, but so we'll start with the early season honey production with 20% of our hives. We'll go down, we'll send them all home with the honey supers on them. We'll put them on a semi, bring them back to Utah where our extracting facility is, and then we'll take the boxes off. You got to use a fume board, Vigo or something like that. Put it on the hive. When it's warm outside, it'll drive the bees out of that box, and then we use the hive tool, break it apart. There's no bees in the box, hopefully. I mean, there might be 10 bees crawling around, but you want to make sure the queen's not in there because then you just lost your hive. And we throw that box on a pallet. And when you do hundreds of those, you'll come home with 10, 20 pallets. Drive that back to the warehouse. We got a heat room. You got to keep it around 100 degrees, 95 to 100, so the honey comes out easily. And we'll try to extract anywhere between 10 and 25 barrels a day in about 8 to 10 hours. It's fun. We extract it. It comes out the end. It's all fresh, like the comb is all sticky and it smells good. So we try to actually use that again on the next honey flow, like alfalfa in June in Utah or even South Dakota, the clover. And we'll put that back on the bees, and they just love it, and they'll just start putting honey in it right away. But yeah, no, it's fun. Sometimes they can really bring the honey in, 5 pounds a day or 10 pounds a day on a really good flow. And then sometimes on a dearth, it might take 40 days to finally make your 30 pounds. And it's really boring, and it's not good for the bees. So you don't like to have that dearth time throughout the year. If you can avoid those 2 or 3 month dearth periods, then your bees will be a lot healthier. So my advice for beginning beekeepers that want to get into it and to be successful. It's a hard industry to do, but it's a fun hobby, and honey is such an awesome thing. It's delicious and it's healthy, and so it's a cool thing. I like people that put it in their backyards. You got to start with new equipment, and you can't go buy old equipment from commercial guys or other people that have had it for even 5 or 10 years. And there's equipment out there that's 30 to 40 years. You don't want to use that stuff. There's pesticides that get trapped in the wax, and then the queen's laying eggs in that wax, and then the bees coming out are already sick from the get-go. So you want to start with new foundation, new everything. I think that's the way to go. And buy a package. You want to start with at least 3 pounds of bees. I like 4 pounds. 1 box. Don't start with 2 boxes on it. You got to feed it quite a bit, but not too much. So you could do a quarter, half feeder full. I use the in-hive feeders, the 1 gallon black ones. So you want to feed them, but not too much, because if you feed them, a gallon a week and they're a small hive, then they're just going to put all that syrup right in where the queen needs to lay. And I would use syrup, straight sugar, 50-50 mixed with water. You can mix it yourself at home, and feed it to them, and make sure there's pollen. And if there's dandelions or things in the backyards, great. If there's not, then you'll have to buy a pollen patty to put on top. Probably global. There's lots of pollen patties out there. Keep an eye on it, have fun with it. Don't check it every day though. Let the queen do her work. You can check it once a week. Pull it up, make sure she's laying eggs in a nice rainbow pattern, and there's not a lot of gaps in there in the cells. Then you can see if there's a bunch of that syrup still on the top edge, top bars, and kind of the top right, top left corners. And if there's not very many, then you need to feed it again. Just be careful. Make sure you're not putting it right next to your neighbor that's got allergies to bees. But for the most part, if you got a little bit of property, even a half an acre, just kind of hide it. Most ordinances in towns and cities they allow bees, but if neighbors don't see it, they'll never know you have a beehive. It's just, we did that once in town here, and we just put like a pallet kind of leaning up against it, and people just thought it was a trash pile or whatever, and they never knew there's bees there. But they'll do good in towns. They'll be great. And if you start off with a new package, you'll have less mites. So I encourage you out there that want to get into beekeeping to find these clubs. They're out there. Just type in for your community, your state. You'll find them. Get your feet wet. Try it out. Go. You can even... I've had people come up to me and say, "Can I come help you for a day?" And I don't know if they really know what they're getting into, but that's happened a few times where they actually come in and they'll try it and they love it. They're beat afterwards, and they're like, "Well, we'll stick to 1 or 2 hives, not that many," but they love it. So you can ask your local people, "Can I come look at your 2 or 3 hives, or can I come help you as the commercial guys for a couple hours?" And they'll take free labor, and you learn a lot. And it's fun, and I encourage you to try keeping bees alive in your backyard, or if you have friends with ranches or a place like that, bring a hive or 2 over to their place and go check it every couple weeks. And it's fun. It's a good hobby. Sometimes it can be expensive, but if you start making honey, it's totally worth it. And then you help the industry keep healthy bees, because when everyone's out there losing 50-60% of their hives, then we need help keeping bees alive. So enjoy and keep it up, and hopefully you can have success in your beekeeping.